Hey, what's going on, Thunder fans? This is another episode of Thunder Things with the Thunder guys. Zack here. Super excited to talk with you guys. Flying solo. Trying to get some settings worked out here. Craig is unable to be here today. He's actually headed to the game tonight. Lucky jerk. So you guys are stuck here with me. I've got a solid show here planned. I'm ready to talk some Thunder basketball, a lot of different things. So please feel free to hop in on Twitter at the Thunder guys. Jump in on the conversation. Let us know. Let me know. It's going to be hard for me to just say me, not us today. I miss my boy Craig here. But I've got a lot of different topics to discuss. So I'm really looking forward to that, hoping that we can get some interaction going on Twitter. Been having some good conversation today, throughout the day, talking ahead of time some different topics. So I'm going to share some of the different takes on some of that stuff. But whether you're listening on crossover radio with a purpose, watching online on YouTube Live, I appreciate it. We appreciate it. Craig's not here, but I know that he does appreciate everything as well. So hope you guys are ready for this ride. It's going to be interesting. I know that one person running a show versus a conversation is a little bit different, so bear with me, and I'm ready to have some fun. So I'm hoping that you guys are as excited as I am, and no matter what it is that we're doing, thanks for coming. So let's go ahead and jump right in. I'm going to go ahead and take a quick recap over the last week's games. So let me know what you guys think. On Twitter, Facebook, YouTube chat, YouTube live chat, whatever it is that you're doing, let me know. I'll be happy to respond to the best of my ability. But I'm gonna go ahead and jump right in. Do a quick recap of the last week. Last Wednesday night, Thunder had a bit of we had a 3-game road trip this last week. Took on the Los Angeles Lakers in Los Angeles at Staples Center. At the time, the Lakers were on, I can't even remember how long their losing streak was. It was bad. And so this is not exactly what I would consider a quality team. They are very young and really trying to figure some things out. And it really is kind of unfortunate even for them how bad they've been. So, but regardless, we're going to celebrate a win because a win is a win. And I can't tell, but I think might be having some technical issues. So maybe not. Okay. High points of the game. I want to talk about Terrance Ferguson. He started in place of the injured Andre Roberson, who's still out. We're going to talk a little bit about how badly the Thunder have been missing Dre. I'm going to get to Terrance Ferguson. But aside from that, I had a really good all-around team performance. For the most part, the starters were not in for the fourth quarter, which is always a good thing considering that this was the first game of a back-to-back playing the following night against the Clippers, also in Los Angeles. But anyways, take a look at some stats here. Russell Westbrook, 20 points on 10 of 17. We've got Paul George had 24 points on 9 of 14. And Carmelo Anthony, 21 points on 8 of 14. Anytime all three of our big three can score 20 apiece, I'm thrilled. Because I kind of feel like that's where we play our best, especially considering the fact that everybody's taking so few shots. Keeping everybody in under 20 shots apiece, as far as those three guys go, I think that's going to be ideally where this offense needs to live. I'm okay with Westbrook taking the most shots. Next, I would want to see Paul George and then Melo probably after that. But, I mean, a combined 45 shots, racking up 65 points. I'm okay with that. Those are good numbers. We can live with that. Also notable, Westbrook had 12 assists. Recorded a season high for the Thunder, 36 total. Raymond Felton had 10 assists off the bench despite not scoring a single point. That's just incredible. We can definitely use numbers like that. Josh Huestis, he had a quietly good game. Played 30 minutes. He only scored 4 points, but he had 9 rebounds. He was a team best plus 30 while he was on the court. That's the kind of stuff that I'm looking for from our bench guys. Good all-around game. Shot 60% from the field, 47% from 3. Even shot a solid 78% from the free throw line. So, I mean, this was a really good team game for us. Defensively, started off a little bit rough. It was tied after the first quarter, 26-26, but really picked it up, scored at least 33 points per quarter from then forward. Largest win of the season, 133-96. So, I mean, it was just an all-around good win. But the best part of the entire game, and if you missed it, I feel really bad for you, actually, was Terrance Ferguson. He was absolutely incredible. He started in place of Andre Roberson and started in place of, I'm going blank here, of Alex Abrinas, who was actually hurt. So I'll be honest, coming into the game, I did not feel very good about it. I thought it was a mistake, perhaps. I wasn't sure if Terrance Ferguson being a rookie, if he was the guy. Josh Huestis had started the game prior, and I thought that he didn't really do a great job, so I'm sure that's why he was pulled. But I didn't have high hopes for Terrance Ferguson, but he did a really good job. He let's see, 24 points. Played 33 minutes. He did not start off all that great. He was 0 for 1 in the first half. So there was that, which wasn't, you kind of expect that whenever you're playing with guys like Russell Westbrook, Carmelo Anthony, Paul George, these big names. That's just kind of what's going to happen. It's part of it. So, you live with that, and that's fine. But came out in the second half and just blew everybody away. It was just absolutely incredible. So, yeah, he had 24 points, shot 9 of 12 from the field. He was 6 for 9 from 3. He went through a streak. He hit like 4 or 5 in a row, I think it was. Dude could not miss. It was incredible. And then towards the end, had 2 incredible dunks, had this one on fast break, just reared back and threw it down so hard he almost hurt himself, which is definitely not something that you want to happen. But, he was excited to dunk. So did that, almost hurt himself. You're worried even that he's not going to be able to continue. But he ended up coming back on. He stayed on the court, and then after that, almost immediately after that, he had another dunk, and this one was just insane. It was one of those you got on a steal and a windmill dunk, and for his height, he's 6'7", so that's decent height, but he probably weighs like $115. Not really, it's like 185, but the dude could put on some weight, but he gets up so high. He's got some bunnies. He's got hops for sure, and Staples Center was roaring because of how incredible the dunk was. So he just has this monster breakout game, and ultimately, that's the kind of stuff that we want to see from a young fella. He gets his opportunity, and when a guy can do that, then you're looking good. So solid game there, and overall, it's hard to say one of the best wins of the season simply because it's the LA Lakers, but it happens. So, moving on, the very next night, played the Los Angeles Clippers, also in Staples Center. So, let's see. Let's take a look at some stats here. This was a little bit more challenging game. Struggled in the first half. Actually trailed the Clippers in the first quarter, and the offense was clicking, defense was struggling, and that was kind of the situation for the night. And this, if anything, showed just how much the Thunder are missing Andre Roberson. So, kind of started to pick it up, tied it up by halftime at 64-64, and ended up being able to maintain struggled at the end of the third quarter. Clippers took a lead for a short bit, and it kind of looked like the Thunder might be falling apart. And then in the fourth quarter, they just turned it on out of nowhere. It was incredible. Took a 10-point lead. Okay, hold on. Be really patient with me. It's like we're having some choppy issues on the radio feed, so I'm skipping. I'm sorry. I'm trying to figure it out. Not quite sure what's going on. So. Anyways, overall, Paul George had a good game, shot 12 of 16. It's really good to see him play well at Los Angeles, in front of his family and stuff like that. Russell Westbrook was 11 of 24, had 29 points, 12 rebounds, 11 assists, picked up another triple-double. He's just been a monster at that. Not quite like last season, obviously, but he's been doing really well. So, strong fourth-quarter finish. Terrance Ferguson, he was not afraid to shoot in this game because of how well he had played in the night before. Didn't shoot as well, 4 of 12, but he still had 11 points. Of his 12 shots, 10 of those were threes. I think he was a little so we're okay to take that. We ended up winning, and that's totally fine. So last game of the week, headed to Phoenix after that. This is another game that I really expected to be a big win. Last week, whenever Craig and I had our show, we were talking about how, in terms of what would really be a great week, in my opinion, would have been 3 wins, all by double digits. Craig just wanted wins, 3 wins, which is what we should have gotten. Did not play well against the Suns at all. The main issue was the defense, and it showed from start to finish. Andre Roberson out. He's still out. I'm going to talk about that here in just a little bit. But missing him was key, because you take a look at the stats, and the guys that really killed us were guys that should not have killed us. TJ Warren, he had 23 points on 9 of 15. Dude was straight chilling down in the paint most of the game. Just wide open. And I don't know if it was, part of the time was Carmelo Anthony was getting beat on back cuts, and it was just pathetic. Other times it was, I don't know. It was a mess. The defense was an absolute mess. And Devin Booker, he ended up getting cooking late. He only shot 6 of 17 from the field, but he was 9 of 12 from the free throw line. He had 26 points. But off the bench, Josh Jackson, rookie out of Kansas, he had 17 points. He was only 7 of 19, but he had some clutch buckets, some big dunks that really gave Phoenix the home crowd momentum that they needed. But what really upset me, killed me to watch, was Dragan Bender. Dude was just killing it from 3. He was 6 for 8, had 20 points, and I'm not 100% certain, but I'm pretty sure most of those, if not all those points, came in the second half. And the thing is, he's the kind of guy that, obviously he's capable of doing that because he did that, but he's not the guy that should do that against a team like the Thunder. And it was just really frustrating to see him. I mean, making 6 threes, that's the most that any one player has made against the Thunder all season long. And this is a guy who's coming off a bench for a terrible team. The Suns are terrible. I'm not afraid to say that. They've got some youth. They've got, maybe some future. They might make the playoffs here in a couple of years. But I don't think they're anywhere near making the playoffs this year. There's no reason that they should be playing us as well as they did. Led by as many as, I think it was 18 at one point, ended up winning by 14. It's just absolutely pathetic. Should not happen. So, not exactly what we wanted to see. Thunder go 2-1. Obviously, winning more than losing. That's good, but at the same time, this is not the way that we want things to go. The Thunder have to start figuring out how to beat those teams that are under 500. I can't remember the record off the top of my head, but we've really struggled to beat some of those lesser teams, and that can't happen. Thunder have a really favorable schedule this month in January against a lot of these lower-tier teams. We've got to take advantage, make up some room in the standings. Okay? So, 2-1 on the week. Not exactly what we wanted, but we're going to live with it. It's nice to see Terrance Ferguson have a breakout game against the Clippers. He actually did. He was okay, and then in the Clippers game, did not do well at all in the game against Phoenix. He only played 18 minutes. Josh Houston's got some more play time there. I think it was in favor of his defense, which he was okay. He once again wasn't great. Not a lot of bright spots on the stat sheet. Russell Westbrook got his most recent triple-double. I think that's 13 on the season, which is pretty awesome. He shot well, above 50%. But besides that, nobody else really played well at all. It's disappointing, but, I mean, we move on, okay? So that brings us to our next topic of discussion and the defensive issues, okay? Got some stats here. Andre Roberson's had to sit out 4 games now, and that is actually, those 4 games is the worst 4-game period for the Thunder for the season. Even though the teams that we've been playing have been pretty terrible consistently throughout the season. So here's the deal. The regular starting lineup that features Dre, along with Russ, Melo, Paul George, and Steven Adams. Here's a quick stat for you. They allow only 96.3 points per 100 possessions, and that's playing 440 minutes together so far this season. It's the Thunder's most played lineup by far, and they've done defensively, not even just defensively, really arguably one of the best starting lineups in the NBA. To me, puts them right up there with the Golden State Warriors, who have 4 All-Stars plus Pachulia. Obviously not quite the offensive firepower there, but still in terms of quality of talent, they're up there with them, doing really well. 96.3 points per 100 possessions allowed by the defense. Solid defensive effort. But with Russ, Melo, George, and Adams, those 4 plus somebody else, so take Dre out of the equation, in those 265 minutes, so not quite as many as the starting 5 altogether, but still, that's a big chunk. Oklahoma City's allowing 118 points per 100 possessions. That's terrible defensively. You're talking about a almost 22-point differential because of one guy. So you've got Thunder fans, you've got national media, you've got critics everywhere that want to talk bad about Andre Roberson. They want to point out his poor free throw shooting, his 3-point shooting. Craig and I have had this discussion. I've actually won Craig over a little bit. It's one of those things where people are finally starting to realize that Andre Roberson is so key and so necessary to what this Thunder team is about. Whether sports fans, Thunder fans, basketball fans, whatever it is, whether they want to admit it or not, defense is the key. You cannot win games without good defense. You look at arguably the best team in the league over the past couple of years, the Golden State Warriors. They have so much offensive firepower, yes, but so much of that comes from their ability to play just aggressive defense, create havoc, cause chaos, force turnovers, and turn that into offense. And that is why the Thunder have been successful. Shots did not fall early in the season, but we were still able to win at least some games. And the reason for that was the defense was able to get the Thunder out in transition, which is where they function best. And because of these types of situations, we're missing out on that when Andre Roberson goes down with injury. And it really kills the flow of the game. You're not just talking about bringing in another player. You're talking about dealing with the chemistry of the players on the court. You're talking about dealing with transitions. You're talking about dealing with matchup changes, coming off screens, communication, those types of things. Andre Roberson knows how his teammates play. He spends most of his time on the court playing with those other 4 guys, okay? And whenever he's on the court, especially with a guy like Steven Adams, who can get his hands in the passing lanes, that's where he functions best. He's not going to be a guy who averages double-digit points per game. I feel like he's getting close, and he's showing a lot better signs, some of those backdoor cuts that everybody loves to see because he can make those shots most of the time. He's cut way back on his 3-point shooting. He doesn't really get fouled often, so his free throw shooting is kind of hidden. Teams try to do the hack and Dre, and it's only happened I think twice all season long. So I don't even feel like those are valid arguing points against Dre. So missing him, it's so obvious the Thunder have to get back to their defensive roots. And whether that means just hold on tight as long as they can until Dre gets back, I don't know. The fact of the matter is, if he goes down, the team can't just fall apart because of that. Paul George is a fantastic defender, regardless of what Charles Barkley says. I don't know if you guys heard what he had to say the other day on TNT, their show on TNT. He was saying that Paul George is not an elite defender. The Thunder cannot compete with the Warriors, the Rockets, and the Spurs when it comes to a 7-game series in the playoffs. That's hogwash. That's not true. There's a reason that Paul George leads the league in steals. He is an elite defender, but, and here's the caveat, but a big part of that is because he's playing alongside a high-powered elite defender like Andre Roberson. I'm not saying Andre Roberson is a better defender than Paul George. I feel like because he does not do as much offensively, he's able to sell out completely on defense, and that makes him more valuable. I said this last week. Andre Roberson's not always the guy making the play on defense, but he makes plays that sets up other guys to make plays, and because of that, that makes him so invaluable. And it's obvious over this 4-game stretch. Yes, the Thunder have won 2 of those 4, but really they could have, should have won all of them. And missing Andre Roberson has been a big key to that. So I think he's going to be back soon. I'm not sure when that's going to be. He's sitting out tonight against the Portland Trail Blazers. I would anticipate that he's not going to be able to play tomorrow on the second half of a back-to-back unless perhaps they're trying to save him and hopefully get him ready for what should be a really tough game, another division matchup that we need to see the Thunder do well in. But I'm just not sure if that's going to happen. So we are actually going to go ahead and cut to a commercial break on our radio stream, Crossover Radio with a Purpose. So if you're sticking around with us, thanks for tuning in, and we'll be right back after a word from these sponsors. If you're still tuning in on YouTube Live, thank you guys so much for joining us. Got quite a few more things to talk about. Obviously, not as much talking. There's not any back and forth going on. Craig's not here. He's headed to the game. I'm jealous. Should be a good game tonight playing the Portland Trail Blazers. Going to be talking quite a bit. I want to cover some game preview stuff, what's going on with them. Should be a really good game. Thunder really do need to pick up a win because tomorrow is going to be a very difficult matchup with the Timberwolves in Minnesota, second half of a back-to-back. So yeah, we want to see. Got to catch up in the standings right now. Still trailing Minnesota by a few games. Definitely within reach, but it's not where we want to be. Got to get better. Got to get closer. Got to move up those standings. I really want to see us make a push by the time the playoffs come around. I feel like we're capable of, I don't know, making a push for the 3 seed. Maybe. I mean, now's a good time to act. The Spurs are struggling. Kawhi's hurt again. The Rockets are struggling with James Harden being out. It's hard for an old man like Chris Paul to carry a team, but Just realized that I was missing out on some sound on the live stream. Thank you, Debbie. I appreciate that. Hopefully I got that fixed now. I'm not even sure how that happened. Also, I think we're having some more issues on the radio broadcast. So I'm not sure if that's fixed. I hope it's fixed. I'm not sure what's going on, folks. Thanks for bearing with me. I'm a one-man crew today, and I only know how to do so much, so I'm doing my best. But back to what I was saying. Our wing play has been good for the most part outside of the three-point shooting. And I get everybody wants to be that three-point shooting team just like the Golden State Warriors, the Houston Rockets, and it's rough that we can't, have those guys that we can just dish to and shoot all night long. Paul George has really done a good job at that. He's shooting really well. Carmelo Anthony has started to shoot better. And then we look at guys like Terrance Ferguson had that lights out night the other night. Russell Westbrook has cut back on his three-point attempts, and I think that's actually benefited his overall shooting. When he decides that he has to pull and shoot and make those shots, then he's doing well. So that's good. But anyways, so I don't know if trading for a wing is necessarily – what it all comes down to is, for me, is what do we have to give up to get something that's actually going to push us over the line. I don't want to trade away a young fella just to get to get something that's going to be better, but not necessarily push us to where we need to beat the Warriors, to beat the Rockets, to beat the Spurs in the playoffs. We've got a lot of people on here. Let's see. Ethan Price said maybe Andrew Bogut, a backup center. Not entirely sure how he'd fit or the price, but maybe. I actually saw somebody else say something about that. So, I don't know. Maybe Bogut would be an interesting move. He's obviously been almost really – I don't even know if he's on a team right now because he's been dealing with injuries for the past season and a half, 2 seasons, something like that. Some other reliable scoring options off the bench. Scott McGregor says Bellinelli, Lou Williams, Brandon Wright, Tyson Chandler all come to mind. And ideally, obviously, we want to have one of those guys that can come and just pop off for 20 points. But the thing is, that's not really this team. You look at the teams that these guys are playing for, they're not playing for good teams. So it makes sense that they're going to be able to do that well. They're going to be able to do those kinds of things for a lesser team. They're not going – I just don't see that happen. I don't see a guy like that coming off the bench and dropping 20-plus points for the team. There's just not enough shots to go around. When you've got Russell Westbrook, Paul George, and Carmelo Anthony, and they're eating up – they're averaging at least 60 points a game combined. But then you look at the nights where, like, I think 3 out of the last 5 games, they're averaging 80 points between the 3 of them. When that's happening, plus you throw in Steven Adams, who really, ideally, we want him getting at least double-digit shots a night because he's so efficient down low. There's not a lot of shots to go around by the time, even when the bench is in and they're on, they're not going to be able to score that many points on a regular night. So picking up one of those guys, yeah, sure, it'd be great, but I don't know if that's going to happen. Somebody else, Brandon Page, he also mentioned Tyreek Evans, but he does not want to trade Jeremy Grant. I agree, Jeremy Grant has been key. He's not played well as of late. I really feel like when he had to sit out that Brooklyn Nets game that was in Mexico City, I can't remember what the issue was. He had like a hip contusion, calf contusion, something like that. Ever since then, I feel like he's not really been himself. It's not that he's looked injured. It's that he's just not been as smooth. He's been flustered at times to make plays. He's had some monster blocks, some of those incredible dunks. Put the man in the dunk contest. But at the same time, if he's not going to be consistently good scoring on the court, then I don't really know what it is that we're going to. I don't know how much he can play if he's not going to take care of the ball. He's really struggled with turning over the ball, and I feel like he's taking too many threes. He should be hanging out more around the paint. So I don't know. I'm not saying trade the dude or even bench him. Give the guy a shot, but he needs to clean up his play lately. So besides that. I don't know. Here's what I would advise to Thunder fans whenever it comes, and this is my advice, not just for Thunder fans. This is all NBA fans. This is in general trades. I tweeted this out yesterday. Trade deadline is a month away, so just a couple things to remember, and here we go. First off, pay attention to the source. You should do this in life in general. Pay attention to your sources. I can't tell you how many times I see an article on Facebook or something, and it has no verified information whatsoever. It's just somebody shared it because they saw some sort of outrageous headline and they just couldn't believe that it was real. It's probably not real. Verify your sources. For one, if you're on Twitter, look for that little blue check mark. If it's not Adrian Wojnarowski with the check mark, it's not a real Woj bomb. There's so many people out there that are faking being him, and Shams, the faking being that guy also. And we've got some quality news breakers out there, but if you're not really paying attention to who it is, then there's no telling what you're going to believe, what you're going to buy into. Pay attention to the source. Next, a rumor doesn't necessarily mean much, if anything. Just because it's a rumor, I'll tell you right now, sources knows more information about everything going on in the league than anybody else. But unfortunately, a lot of those times, sources never proves to be anybody. Just because somebody says that sources say this and this and this. I can't tell you how many tweets and stories I read about sources say that Carmelo Anthony is ready to reach an agreement with the Houston Rockets. Well, guess where he's at now? He's in Oklahoma City. So just because a rumor is going around doesn't mean anything. If there's no blue check mark on Twitter, it's probably not true. And lastly, keep this in mind. Sam Presti likes to work in the dark. If you think you can try to predict what he's going to do, just stop. You can't. I've tried. This is the 10th season of being a Thunder fan, and I don't know if I've ever quite been ready for a move that he's going to make. He does things that just, first off, throw everybody off, shocks everyone, and he does it out of nowhere. It's like, oh, yeah, oh, great, we're going to sit pat again and just be okay with where we're at and not do anything. And then out of nowhere he goes, he makes a blockbuster trade, picks up Paul George, picks up Carmelo Anthony. So whatever it is, just be patient, and I guess I would say expect nothing, but at the same time, be prepared for anything, because that's the type of guy that he is, okay? Anyways, so that's kind of my 2 cents on the trade deadline that's coming up, and I don't know. I don't feel like we should make any moves right now, unless it's really going to push us, if that makes sense. If it's really going to push us over the edge, then that's fine. I just had a guy, on Twitter. He's asking about he said, why, this is at, I can't even tell what his Twitter name is, Thermot. He says, why do we cut these guys so much slack on second night of a back-to-back? We need to beat Minnesota as we can see them in the playoffs. And I agree. I don't know if it's cutting so much slack as much as just understanding. Guys get tired. Depending upon how tonight goes, like if it's a blowout somehow and starters get to rest, by all means. But, I mean, traveling from Oklahoma City to Minnesota and being ready to go, I mean, you try it. I don't know if I could really even function, work my job if I had to go from Oklahoma City, hop on a plane, get to Minnesota, and be able to do the same thing in less than 24 hours. That travel takes a toll on a body. There's such a thing. Yeah, it's not a difference, much of a difference time zone wise or anything like that, but still, talking about opposite end of the country, it's tiring. Plus, it's basketball. You're dealing with fatigue. So, excuse me. Need to get some coffee or something. But anyways, so moving on. I'm actually going to skip and come back to my weekly rant right now. I'm going to. By the way, since Craig is gone, we're missing out on his top 5. So I feel like maybe he should have to make it up to us by giving us a top 10 next week or something. I don't know. We'll have to have a talk with him. Maybe he's watching and now he knows that he's on. The pressure is on. So get a quick drink. Thank you. Okay. Next up, let's talk about our latest NBA power rankings. Craig sent me his. They are not posted yet. I will get those published here shortly. Actually going to cut the show a little bit short tonight. Usually we will go until 7 o'clock, but with Craig not here, not quite as much to talk about. And we have a game tonight, if you did not know, Thunder fans, playing Portland at 7 o'clock. So I'm going to hop off a little bit early and try to get my setup ready to go to cover the game. So anyways, covering latest NBA power rankings, top 10. Craig and I both, ours look very similar. I'm looking at these, and we've got some very, very, very similar rankings. So Let's talk about these. First off, we both have the same 1 through 3. Golden State Warriors at number 1, Boston Celtics at number 2, the Toronto Raptors at number 3. They are really playing, in my opinion, those 3 teams are on another level right now in terms of they're just playing really consistent. They're not winning every game. I mean, the Warriors pretty much are. Steph Curry's back, and he's they're doing just fine. I don't know why anybody ever doubted. It was pretty funny because they weren't in the top of the rankings to start the season, and that's just because we were basing them based off of how teams are playing right now, not how they should be playing. But the Warriors are back at the top, and they're probably going to stay there, and I get that, and that's fine. But whatever. Boston Celtics at number 2. They've been playing really well. I don't know. That team is just confusing to me in a lot of ways. I'm not sure what they're capable of, what they're going to be able to do in the playoffs. But the play of Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum is just, I mean, it blows my mind what they're able to do. They're young, but they don't play young. They're playing with a lot of confidence, and it's kind of hard to beat a younger squad because they want to play harder, and they've got some of that youth. Oh, man. It's still dark outside, early this time of year, so getting tired. Moving on. Craig's got the Minnesota Timberwolves next at number 4, which is a little high to me. They've been playing good basketball, and I get that, but I don't know. I don't have them that high. I've actually got the Timberwolves down at number 7, just ahead of the Thunder. But we play them tomorrow. Picking up a win against them would be really nice. I would like to see that. Not sure if that's going to happen. Like I said, playing the second half of back-to-back, that's kind of hard to do. But I don't know. We'll see how that goes. Next, at number 5, he's got the Washington Wizards, which seems really high to me. I've not really been all that impressed with what they've been doing. They're winning more than they're losing, which is great. But at the same time, I don't know. I don't really feel like they're a top 5 team by any means. I've got the Cavs at number 4. They've lost a few games lately, and they've been struggling, but they're still, it's LeBron. I mean, they're going to get things taken care of. Isaiah Thomas has just come back, so he's trying to adjust. Next, I've got the Spurs at number 5. Kawhi is back, or he was back, I should say, playing about every other game. He recently tore his shoulder. He might be back as early as Friday, though, so it just kind of depends on what he's looking at. If he's able to get back and really get back on track, then I feel like the Spurs will be able to turn things around. They're kind of at an interesting moment. I feel like if they can get to the All-Star break and be still in a similar position as to where they are in terms of the standings, Kawhi Leonard can get back to full health, get back in the flow of things, then I think they'll be able to just continue to crank out wins like they're so good at doing. But I don't know. It's gonna take some work. After that, I had the Spurs at 5. Craig has the Spurs at 6, followed by the Cavs at 7. And then he has the Rockets at 8. I've got the Rockets at number 6. They're also in an interesting situation. They're not going to start losing all of a sudden, but they are going to they might struggle a little bit longer. James Harden's out right now, torn hamstring, so if Chris Paul's not able to just straight carry for the most part, then they really may struggle. They're not an incredibly deep team, and it's kind of showed recently. They've lost more than they've won. I think they've only won 3 of their last 10 games. So they're going to need Harden to get back quickly. So yeah, after the Rockets, I've got the Timberwolves at 7, like I said. Then I've got the Thunder at 8. Craig's bumped them all the way down to 10. Not what I would consider a great week, going 2-1 against that team that we did. We got 4 solid games to play this weekend. Actually going to preview those, go into some detail on the Trailblazers. We'll see about that. And I think that the Thunder have a good chance to move up in our rankings this week. I'd like to see that happen. After that, I've got the Wizards at 9, and then Craig has the Heat at number 9, who I have at number 10. So all of our top 10 teams are all the same. They're just slightly different order. The Heat have been doing really well, so I'm impressed with what they're able to do right now with what they've got. So they narrowly missed the playoffs last year after they went on that hot streak that they did. But I think they've got an extremely good chance of doing that. As far as 3 to watch, we've got one similar team, and that is the Portland Trailblazers. They're right on the brink of breaking into the top 10, and that's who the Thunder plays tonight. Thunder need to take care of business, really need to win this game. We're going to get in. I've got some details to talk about that game, including the fact that Damian Lillard is not playing. That was just confirmed, which is good news for the Thunder because Andre Roberson is out still. So that first matchup, Lillard absolutely killed the Thunder. So, but anyways, let's see. On my 3 to watch, I've got the Milwaukee Bucks and the Detroit Pistons as well. I think the Pistons are they are going to be a dangerous team coming up soon. I feel like they are they're capable of doing some pretty dangerous things, even I guess you could say with what they've got. So I don't know. Keep an eye on the Pistons. The Milwaukee Bucks, obviously, the Greek Freak, he is a freak for sure. And if he's able to perform at a high level still, I feel like both the Bucks and the Pistons will be dark horses in the Eastern Conference to stir up some trouble. So just to, keep that in mind, I don't know. They could be potentially dangerous. So we take a look at... excuse me. Take a look at Craig's 3 to watch. He included the Clippers. Not really sure if that's a good idea or not. Not really a team that I would consider to be breaking in because they've still got a losing record, but they've won 7 out of their last 10. So I don't know. Maybe he sees something that I don't see. We'll just have to wait and see. Who knows? Maybe they can. They can get into that. We'll just have to be patient and find out. After that, he's got the 76ers. He's still trusting the process. I don't know. I've kind of lost interest in them. Joel Embiid is kind of a novelty at this point, whether or not he plays. I don't feel like he's consistent enough. So it's kind of hard to tell if he's going to continue to be anything that's special, or I don't know. I'm not sure that he'll be able to play throughout, deep into the season. And he's just always hurt. He's always needing to rest and that kind of thing. So I don't know. I'm not a big fan. I'm not convinced. We'll just have to once again wait and see. That's so much of what we have to do is wait and see. So with that, we are going to go ahead and cut to another break. Get another word from our sponsors, and after that, when we get back, what do we have up to discuss? Oh, mid-season checkup on preseason predictions. At the beginning of the season, Craig and I made some preseason predictions, some exciting stuff that we kind of just threw out, some ideas, some stuff that we thought might happen. So, yeah. We're going to take a look at that, see how our predictions are doing, and I actually have not gone back and looked at those. I was going to go and kind of study over them, be ready for them today, but I decided not to do that because I thought that it might be fun for those of you that are watching to see my reactions to how good or how bad they are. So we'll just have to wait and see what that looks like. So we will be back after a quick word from our sponsors. If you're listening on Crossover Radio with a purpose. If you're still tuned in on YouTube Live, thank you so much for joining us, sticking with us through to the end. Going to be talking real soon. Mid-season checkups, like I said, we made some award predictions. We made some, what else was it? 10 bold predictions for the Thunder season, and believe me, they were bold predictions because if I remember correctly, we are way wrong on some of those, and it could be embarrassing for us. So Just a second. Okay. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and get my phone out and ready. That way I can look over these predictions. I'm sorry I'm not as entertaining solo as I am with my boy Craig. I know that the back and forth is why you guys always come to tune in and watch us, our many fans. Just kidding. Regardless of the numbers, we appreciate you all, and we're glad that you take the time to jump in and join us in the conversation. Hey, what's up, Thunder fans? We are back talking Thunder basketball on Thunder Things with the Thunder Guys. Today it is Thunder Things with the Thunder Guy. I'm flying solo without my boy Craig. He's going to the game tonight. I'm jealous, but that's okay. We're going to kick off this segment of our show talking some preseason predictions that we made and see how good or bad they are doing. If I remember correctly, our 10 bold predictions for the Thunder season are probably not doing so hot because of the Thunder's inability to really play well at the start of the season. So, since Craig's not here and he can't defend himself, I'm going to start off with his so I can feel a little bit better about myself. But starting off, he said Russell Westbrook will win back-to-back MVPs. Now, this one is not completely out of the question. But it's really not, I wouldn't bank on it, okay? He did not start the season well. He was actually shooting, I think statistically shooting the worst since his rookie career. Definitely not good, but he has, the past few weeks, been playing perhaps the best of his entire career. So it's interesting. We've seen polar opposites in terms of what he's capable of, and so I don't know. He could make some sort of crazy run, end up winning MVP. I don't really see that happening just because of the talent that he's got around him. I don't think that really defines what a most valuable player is, but who knows? In one way, he's definitely our MVP because as he goes, the team goes. His play has improved. That ultimately has helped everyone's play improve. The Thunder as a team have improved, so he deserves a lot of the credit. Next bold prediction from Craig. Andre Roberson will shoot 60% from the free throw line. No. Not happening. It could happen, granted, if he gets more free throw opportunities and he starts actually making them. But as of right now, I think last time I checked, he was shooting somewhere around 30%, 25%. It's bad. Granted, it looks worse than it really is simply because he doesn't even average a single free throw attempt per game. So, I mean, take that with a grain of salt, I guess. His next bold prediction was that Paul George will be named to the NBA All-Defensive First Team. That is, I feel like that's almost a shoo-in right now because Paul George leading the league in steals with like 2.5, I think, per game. He's just doing some incredible things. He's obviously helped propel the Thunder to be one of the top defenses in the NBA. So, excuse me. As far as that goes, I would not be in the least surprised if that were to be the case. So I feel pretty good about that prediction. Congrats on that one, Craig. You're doing a solid job, my dude, on that one. Next, he said that Steven Adams will average 15 points a game. Could end up happening. He's averaging 13.5 right now. So that's a pretty... that, to me, was a very bold prediction simply because playing alongside the big three of Russ, PG, and Melo, trying to find 15 more points on that starting lineup is hard to do. But Steven Adams has been pretty solid. I can definitely see him, amping it up a little bit to finish out the second half of the season, and he could push over that edge. Lastly, he said the Thunder will beat the Warriors twice during the regular season. There's only been one game so far. The Thunder won that one, so 3 more chances to make this one true. I'm impressed. He picked that. He said it's likely that each team will win the games they play at home and lose on the road. Thunder 1-0 at home. Have not played at Oracle yet, so I don't know. Craig, you're doing all right, young man. Not too terrible with those. And now we get to mine. Okay, I went 110% homer on this first one, and I'm not even going to try to hide it. I'm just going to throw it out there, and I'm kind of embarrassed, but I mean, what are you going to do? Oklahoma City will win its first NBA Finals. I mean, it could happen, right? It's not like it's not like it's impossible or anything like that. So playoffs aren't here yet. Who knows what the Thunder might be able to put together. Next one that I've got for bold predictions for the Thunder. The Thunder will rank in the top 10 in the NBA in three-point shooting. As of right now, the Thunder are, I've got the stats pulled up, ranked 19th at 35.7. Not great. They're only 1.3% away from breaking into the top 10. So, I mean, there's definitely some room for improvement, and they could make that improvement. They have been shooting better lately. I think the Thunder have actually improved by over 1% just in the last few weeks alone. So I feel like that's reasonable. It could happen. Next, Oklahoma City will lead the league in defensive rating. This was a big move by yours truly. I felt like this might have been one of the bolder predictions, because to flat out say that the team will be the best, that's a tough call to make. And I feel like I hit it pretty close. The Thunder have unfortunately fallen off on defense. They're tied at 4th right now with the Portland Trailblazers, who we play tonight. But for a while, they were ranked very closely or right around, even ahead at times, the Boston Celtics at 1st and 2nd. So I hit that one pretty close. There's still some time to improve that, and I feel pretty good about where that's at. I don't know, but I feel like they can make it happen. I've already lost this one, I think. I'll have to check. Let's check the Thunder's record really quickly. I said the Thunder will win 60 games in the regular season, including 35 of 41 at home. That means that the Thunder would have to lose only 4 games the rest of the season to hit 60, and at home they would not be able to lose any of their final 21 home games. I'm going to go ahead and say that's probably not going to happen. Like I said, I went a little bit homer on these. Okay, a lot of bit homer. That's fine. It happens. All right, it happens. I take full responsibility for my actions, and I apologize for nothing. So, last one, I said that the starters will average more points than any other starting 5 in the league. With Andre Roberson in your starting lineup, that's a risky move. Okay, but I mean, the Thunder aren't too far off. I actually said, don't be surprised when the starting lineup averages at least 80, maybe even 90 points per game. And they're ranked 7th, so they're not at the top, but they're averaging 80.6 points per game, and I feel like they're only improving. So I feel like I hit part of that. I'm going to give myself half a gold star, and when it comes down to it, I think Craig was more accurate in his predictions. Not quite as bold, if I do say so. But, I mean, to each his own. All right, so that's 10 bold predictions for the Thunder season. Moving on to awards predictions for the Thunder season. Bear with me. I need to reach over and plug in my laptop here before I die. Ugh. All right, we're back. We got preseason award predictions that Craig and I both made. I'm just going to go through award by award, let you guys know what we picked, and we will see. We'll see where we're standing. Craig and I both picked Russell Westbrook to repeat as MVP. Not quite sure what I was thinking there, because I don't see that happening right now. But I mean, it is what it is. Scoring champion. Let me go ahead and pull up NBA stats really quickly, see where we're at, see who's closer on this one. I feel like it's going to be me, but I'm just not sure. Craig picked Devin Booker, and he's actually been saying for a while now that he thinks that he made the right pick for scoring champion, just picked it a year or two early. Devin Booker's actually at 9. He's averaging 24.9 points a game, and I picked Damian Lillard, who is actually tied with him at 24.9 points per game. So we're close. Well, I mean, at least our guys are in the top 10, right? That's good, but probably not going to catch up to James Harden, averaging 32.3 points a game. He's almost 4 points ahead of the Greek Freak, who's in second. So there's that. But other notable high scorer in the league, Russell Westbrook's also averaging 24.9 points per game. So moving on to most improved player, Craig also, defensive player of the year. We skipped over that. We both picked Kawhi Leonard. I don't even know if they're allowed. No, he's missed too many games. Can't happen. So we totally missed that. I'm not even. That was just a bad thing. Obviously, you can't predict that a guy's going to be injured for half the season, but it happens. So I would not bank on that happening. It is what it is. Most improved player, Craig picked Devin Booker. I picked Yusuf Nurkic. I'm trying to think of who would even be in the running right now. I honestly can't think of off the top of my head. I had read about somebody that would. I read recently, but I can't remember. It slipped my mind. But I don't know. We'll see about that. Sixth man of the year. Craig picked Rudy Gay. I picked Will Barton. I think they both had decent seasons, but I don't really know if either of those guys is going to be the pick for that. Rookie of the year, Craig made a solid pick with Ben Simmons, who was actually my Rookie of the Year pick last year before he got hurt and blew it. But Craig, solid pick there. Ben Simmons is the favorite right now. I went with Dennis Smith Jr., who I still think he's got a chance. Coach of the year, Craig picked Scott Brooks. I picked Billy Donovan because I went like a homer on this one. Of course I did. Scott Brooks. I don't feel like the Wizards have done what they should be doing, so I don't see him winning it. The Thunder, we know, haven't done what they should, so I don't see Billy D winning it. I'm trying to think of who would really be the best. Honestly, I feel like Brad Stevens has done the best job after losing Gordon Hayward, so maybe him or I don't know. It's hard to say that Tom Thibodeau could be a pick, but I don't know, maybe him too because the Timberwolves are playing well. But he's been so heavily criticized, so I don't even know who people are considering. For Executive of the Year, we both went Sam Presti. You could argue Danny Ainge because the Celtics have made some good moves, but honestly, I feel like it's obvious Sam Presti made some monster moves, gave out some dirt, got some gold in return. But what do we know? Craig picked the Warriors and the Cavs for his NBA Finals matchup with the Warriors winning. I picked the Thunder and the Celtics, and that's still what I'm holding out for because he picks the Golden State Warriors to win. He picked Kevin Durant for his Finals MVP, and I picked the Thunder to win with Russell Westbrook as my Finals MVP pick. So I don't know. A lot of these, really all these awards are kind of up for grabs. I think scoring champion might be the only one that's kind of locked in. Just because James Harden's done so much. But I don't know. We'll have to see where we're at with that. So it is time for Zach's weekly rant, and I'll be real honest. I don't have anything picked out. Here's a brief rant. Some people just like to throw fits about every little thing. I just don't have anything to go ranty about this week. I mean, I guess the only thing that I have to rant against is that just because we lose a game, just because the Thunder lose a game, does not mean that we have to throw in the towel or we have to make a big move or fire Billy Donovan, whatever that might be. So I'm so tired of the levels of negativity. And you guys have heard me on our show all season long. If you read the stuff that we write, I've been saying the same stuff this whole time. I'm not in a panic type of mode. Even when we lose a bunch of games, or when we've lost a bunch of games, when we lose a game and we look bad, losing to Phoenix on Sunday was terrible. I'm never in the moment saying I'm panicking. I'm irritated because I know that our team is capable of doing better. It's kind of, I feel like a dad. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. And that's kind of where I'm at. I don't feel like we are in a panic mode. People want to look at records. They want to look at standings. They want to look at stats and stuff like that. Here's the thing. When it comes time to the playoffs, it has everything to do with who's healthy, who's playing well, and who wants it more. Okay? Talent goes a long way, but when it comes down to it, who wants it more? Every team right now is talented in the NBA. Sorry. Maybe I shouldn't say that. I feel bad for teams like the Hawks and the Magic. But anyways, the Thunder are talented. I feel like they can go toe-to-toe with Golden State. I feel like they can match up well with the Rockets. I feel like they can beat the Spurs, okay? I'm not in any type of panic mode. So everybody else just needs to chill out, and we'll just have to see where we're at, okay? I don't know. I'm not concerned. So I guess my rant is I need everybody to quit ranting, okay? So I'm just going to leave that at that. Just got a question on our live chat from friend from high school. Dan asks, what percentage chance would I say that the Thunder have to going into the playoffs, 5 seed or better? High. Very high. If I was a betting man, which if you know me, I am sometimes, I don't know. I'd say 90% chance that we're going to be at least the 5 seed. That's where we're at right now. I feel like we're only going to improve. Honestly, I'm hoping for a top 3 seed. I know that's optimistic, but where we're at, I don't even know. Okay? So we'll see. I feel good about what Thunder are doing. Bad loss on Sunday aside. Bad loss on New Year's Eve to the Mavs aside. Stuff like that happens. Okay? I'm not concerned. I feel like we're going to be able to move forward. And I want to see what we do with January. I feel like January is going to be a good month for us. Okay? So let's just forget about Sunday. Let's focus on tonight and move forward. That's where we get to our weekly forecast. I want to take a look at the games that we played this week. I'm going to go ahead and set aside the Portland Trailblazers because I want to talk about them last, cover some stuff. But anyways, we play the Trailblazers tonight. I really want to win this game for a number of reasons. Obviously, I want to win every game. This is Northwest Division matchup. We need this win. Tomorrow we play the Timberwolves. They've been playing really well lately. Just beat the Cavs. That's a solid win for them. I want to see us picking up that win would be huge. Second game on a back-to-back, playing at home tonight in Minnesota then. That's going to be a tough game. And I get that. And I'm okay with that. And, you know, whatever happens, happens. But if we can come away with a win there, I feel like that would be a really solid win. Moving on to Saturday, we play the Charlotte Hornets in Charlotte. They are bad. They're 15-23 right now. They play the Mavericks, who are also really bad tonight. Kemba Walker, obviously, he's an outstanding player. Dwight Howard's having a really, really solid season right now. But they're not good. They beat us at home. It's been a few weeks now, almost a month now. I want to destroy them in Charlotte. They never should have beat us in our house, and we better just dominate them, okay? Then last game of the week will be next Monday. Craig and I will actually be going to that game, so we will be live tweeting from inside the Peak. We play the Sacramento Kings, who are not doing so hot lately. I'm sure plenty of Thunder fans are going to be cheering for Buddy Hield. He played for the Oklahoma Sooners a couple years ago. I'm not an OU fan. Craig is. But we both agree. Cheer for him once. After that, he's on the other team. Get over it. Went to see him play. Well, I didn't go to see him. I went to a Thunder game last year when he was playing for the Pelicans, and they were here. And I'm telling you, everybody cheered. Every time he made a three, everybody was cheering. I'm like, he does not play for us, okay? So let's cheer for our team. I don't care. If you play for another team, I don't care where you're from, all right? If my brother goes to play for another team and you're playing our team, I don't care. I love him, but I'm not cheering for you. You're not on my team, okay? Stay loyal. That's all I have to say about that. So that brings me to the Portland Trailblazers tonight. If you haven't already, you should quickly, because tip-off's here in about 30 minutes, go check out our game preview, and I'll actually pull it up for you and throw out some stats here about what's going down with tonight's matchup. As I mentioned earlier, Damian Lillard is missing the game. That's good news for the Thunder. He's got a right calf strain. Unfortunate for him. Unfortunate for Trailblazers fans. I'm okay with him missing, and I don't feel bad. I like to play teams when they're at full strength, and that's all right. But it's fine. All right. I'd much rather get the win, obviously, with Andre Roberson out. So the reason this is so good is back in November when we lost to the Trailblazers in Portland, he had a monster game. 36 points, 13 assists. He made it to the free throw line like 15 or 16 times. I can't remember. Just absolutely destroyed us. And with him out, he is such a key cog to what that team does that's going to benefit us greatly. If you've ever been in the building when he hits a buzzer beater against you, you know the heartbreak that he's capable of. And I'm kind of glad that we don't have to worry about that. CJ McCollum, though, he will be the key player to watch tonight. Paul George will probably be trying to lock him up some. If not him, then Terrance Ferguson will be playing against him. Maybe Russell Westbrook. Shabazz Napier is filling in for Damian Lillard, so I would definitely look for Russell Westbrook to try to get to the rim a lot. Shabazz is much smaller than Russell Westbrook. He's 3 inches shorter, probably about 30 pounds lighter. Well, maybe not. 20. Maybe 20. Maybe 15, 20. I don't know. But Russell Westbrook's definitely bigger, stronger, more powerful. So look for him to try to take him to the rim a lot. And that's the kind of things that I like to see. Besides that, projected starters for the Thunder are as normal. Andre Roberson's the only injury for the Thunder. Damian Lillard, the only injury for the Blazers. Head-to-head with the Blazers are actually one of the few teams, one of the few organizations in the league that the Thunder currently has a losing record against since arriving in Oklahoma City in 2008. The Thunder is 18-19 against the Trailblazers. We are 11-7 at home against them, so that's good news considering we're in Oklahoma City tonight. The Thunder has won the season series against the Blazers 3 times, lost it 4 times, tied it twice. That's tough because we play in the same division as them. Would really like to pick up a division win tonight, especially going to Minnesota tomorrow. Another division game. Really need to start making up some ground there. Last season, Russell Westbrook picked up a career-high 58 points at home against the Blazers. So he's got some good history there. I'd like to see that. So besides that, Portland has won 2 games in a row, but they've only won 5 of their last 5. Thunder have won 7 of their last 10. Thunder are number 5 in the standings, Western Conference, and Portland is number 6. This game will decide currently where the teams are record-wise. So it's really important for I feel like this is an important game for a lot of reasons. I feel like the Thunder are turning the corner. They're making some good changes, some improvements, and missing Dre, this is a very important game for the Thunder. So I'd really like to see us do well, not just win, but win big. I feel like that's super necessary. So besides that, I think it's about time to wrap things up. Like I said, finishing a little bit early. We've got game going on tonight, tip-off going on in 25 minutes. If you're watching live, if you're catching the show after the fact, thanks for joining in and sticking with me. I know it was a little rough at times. Craig will be back next week, and we will be ready to talk more Thunder basketball. So again, thank you so much for joining in, and until next week,